Let's begin with the first giant trade of the NHL season. The Devils trading Taylor Hall to the Coyotes in exchange for 3 prospects and 2 conditional draft picks. JR, as we talked about, you live there. The team's already in first place in the Pacific. What's this mean for them now?
It means the world. This is the best thing to happen to Arizona since Arizona got a team in 1996. It was great getting Phil Kessel. There's no question that's step one. Phil Kessel's been a little bit off in his goal scoring. I think it's been hard for him to adjust to playing the type of game I think that Talk wants to play. Maybe not having the Malkins and the Crosbys to feed him the pucks, but I think he is starting to feel more comfortable. But getting a Taylor Hall, getting an MVP type player in Arizona is so important for so many reasons. Not only one, because they've had trouble scoring. Taylor Hall is going to fit that bill if he can continue to play the type of game scoring wise and putting points that he has been. But getting that exciting player, Anson, that guy that's going to bring people to that building out in Glendale that's been so hard to attract the fans night in and night out. But to get to see a guy like Taylor Hall play is one of the main reasons why people will make that drive. So they're one of the better teams in the National Hockey League right now defensively, and I think getting Taylor Hall is a game changer for them. Way to go, Chaika, for getting this guy and not having to give up the meat and potatoes of your hockey club, and now give this team something to look forward to every single night.
And this doesn't happen without Alex Morello, the new owner, coming on and giving that green light to John and his staff there in Arizona. And I don't live in Arizona like you do, JR, but I went to a game out there last year, and it was brutal. Like, you're in Scottsdale, you're hanging out, W Hotel, having a great time, and you got to get in the car and drive 40 minutes to Glendale.
40? You must have been in the speed lane.
I was flying.
You must have been in the speed lane. It's more like an hour and a half.
Don't tell the cops out there. I was flying, and it was brutal. Like, really? I didn't want to go out there. But you're thinking about the fans in Arizona. What can you tell your fans? Hope, right? Now they have hope. Before, they hoped the team didn't move, and now they actually hope this team could actually win a Stanley Cup. First, like you said, Kessel coming there, team in first place, and now a player like Hall coming to your lineup and not really losing much. I mean, It might be a rental, but it's a big addition for the Coyotes.
No, the fans deserve it. There's no question that the fans have been waiting for something good to happen. Now this year they have a goaltender that's in the top of the league in terms of goals against, save percentage. Kemper's been absolutely fantastic. And you have a team that is winning hockey games and showing the fans that they know how to win, that they want to win, that they want to compete. My only fear in this, and maybe you can just see what you think. My only fear is that this team has been conditioned now by Rick Tocchet to play a certain way, to play gritty, to play hard, to play a 4-man system that plays in your face, plays a very good defensive style of game, and has now found a system and a belief system in a way that they can win hockey games. So now does Rick Tocchet really sit there and say, okay, I got to be in fear of my guys saying, we got the savior coming. We got an MVP that's coming that's going to save the day, that's going to put the puck in the net, and we're going to win hockey games because it's going to be there and take their foot off the gas on what has made them successful this year. I sure hope that that doesn't happen, and I'm sure Rick Tocchet is going to have his foot on that pulse as soon as Taylor Hall gets in that locker room.
I agree. I mean, you know Talk as well as I know Talk, and there's no way he's letting the team change their mentality and their identity, who they are.
But subconsciously, it can happen.
It could happen.
So what should he do to get out in front of that? What can he do?
Just address it straight up. Let the guys know. Listen here, fellas. We have Taylor Hall. He's a game changer. However, this is what has made us successful. This is what's allowed us to be in a position to acquire a player like this. We don't change.
Ace, what's more important? Is it more important to go to the 22 guys that are in that locker room saying, listen, guys, cut the shit with your thinking. Taylor Hall is going to save the day. No, Taylor Hall is going to come help us. We need to play the same way no matter who's in the system. Or do you go to Taylor Hall and say, Taylor, we love the way you play. We want you to continue to play the way you play, but this is how we play. And you have to make sure you buy into the system, play the same way that we've been playing here. It's kind of a tough scenario.
I think you talk to both. You go to both parties. You go to your team and you go to Taylor Hall.
It's a great point.
And Taylor Hall has always said he wants to win. He hasn't had playoff success, so he wants to win. He's going to do whatever it takes to have success in the postseason, because that's only going to help his bottom line, because he's chasing the bag right now, right?
Yeah.
He wants to get paid, or else he would have stayed in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So he wants to get paid. So he's going to do whatever it takes.
Does he want to win a Stanley Cup,
That's
too?
what I'm saying.
Right?
He wants to. So a
You think that's
first-round exit
is that a
not
realistic
gonna do any good.
expectation for this team?
Why not?
Well, I think that's what's going to be the real interesting thing here, because Taylor Hall still has to sign a contract. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year.
Right.
So does he go to Arizona thinking that Arizona now is a team that can vie for the Stanley Cup, or not even that? Can they vie for the playoffs? Does he go to Arizona and enjoy the life and sign a big-time contract because he wants the money and hope that he can be that guy that helps him there? I think right now it's getting this team to the playoffs that's number one. Thinking about a Stanley Cup, I think, is maybe a little bit too much right now. But we're going to see what Taylor Hall is going to be thinking about this, because either he's going to be able to sign a contract with the Coyotes or he wants to, because if he doesn't, we're kind of thinking about the same mentalities of maybe what he's thinking.
Well, and you have to get in. That's bottom line. We've seen 8 seeds get in and do some damage. LA Kings, perfect example of that. There's so much parity in the league now, and it's so hard to get in the playoffs now that once you get in, anything's possible. Who would have thought last year Columbus would have upset Tampa Bay after Tampa Bay's historic season?
That's why hockey's so great. That's why the National Hockey League is so great.
That's why we watch it, not basketball.
There's no
So obviously there's a lot of excitement for good reason. Not only what Arizona has done leading up to this point, but what they can do now for the next few months with Taylor Hall.
Yeah, but there's belief. There's belief, Paul, and that's what's good.
As there should be, yeah. It's exciting. As you mentioned, it's good for hockey. It's great for that city. Let's go from team to player, though. What's it mean for Taylor Hall? 10 years now, 3 teams, not a lot of postseason success for the player.
It's got to be tough for Taylor Hall, because there was that debate, Taylor versus Tyler, during their draft year at Tyler Seguin. And he watched Tyler Seguin go to Boston, win a Stanley Cup, have success, only playing one other team in Dallas now. And he's probably thinking, geez, I went first overall, he went second, and he's winning championships. Yes, I've got an MVP on my mantle, but guys want to play to win Stanley Cups, not necessarily MVPs, right? So for Taylor Hall, this is a great opportunity. He's not going to a team, if you're drafted first overall to a bottom place team, you're going to one of the top teams in the National Hockey League out west now.
Yep.
So he has a chance now to really make his mark, because that's all he wanted. He wants a chance to win.
You know, it's funny, you say making your mark. I think he's made his mark, but has he made his mark the way as that he wants? Has he made his mark to the level that maybe Taylor Hall can make his mark? To me, I don't think so. And I think that Stanley Cup is going to be the one that is going to secure that. It's great to win a Hart Trophy. There's no question. He's one of the most dynamic players in the National Hockey League. But now he can go to Arizona, Ace, and really learn from a guy who did it also in Phil Kessel. High draft pick to Boston. Boston didn't work out. He goes to Toronto. He played well in Toronto, but still didn't really work out in Toronto. He got, some bad publicity. He got some. I think they looked at him maybe a little bit as an overrated player. So he goes on to Pittsburgh. And granted, you have Malkin and Crosby, but he goes and wins 2 Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh, and he was a big part of those Stanley Cup wins. So that being said, does Taylor Hall go there and learn from a guy like Kessel of how to kind of morph your way into being that person that's going to be remembered as one of the best players ever to play the game? And I think it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic works with Phil Kessel.
That's a great point. And I think he's got another person to lean on, too, in terms of Rick Tocchet, because Tock was there in Pittsburgh with Phil Kessel, so he could actually help him with the blueprint of what it's going to take to get to the next level. But you're right, JR. Phil Kessel's a perfect example of a guy that was looked at a certain way, and then once he won, looked at a different way. Rightfully or wrongfully, he was perceived as this player that was a malcontent maybe in Toronto, which we all know that probably wasn't the case.
Right.
It's just people are nitpicking to find a reason for why they traded him.
I'm just going to finish this conversation off with a stamp. I am so excited for Arizona, because it has been a long time overdue that this organization has gone out and gotten somebody of the Taylor Hall talent.
Yep.
Phil Kessel, granted, no question, that was a great trade, great pickup. I think Phil Kessel wanted to go to Arizona to be with Rick Tocchet because the relationship is so good. That was step one. But I think this step really, really sends the adrenaline in Arizona over the top. Now they have to make sure that they continue how they've built themselves this year and continue to now put the puck in the net, because that's been their problem, putting the puck. Defensively, it's all good. They're winning games, very close games, 2-1, 3-2, relied on the goaltender. Taylor Hall can allow them to put up 3-4 a game, and with that defensive aspect of it, have an exciting offensive game as well as a shutdown defensive game. So happy for Rick Tocchet. So happy for the Arizona Coyotes. Way to go, Chaika.
This is not good for us, though, because if Arizona is a good team, we'll see less of JR. You're not going to come to the studio. You're going to be at the games in Glendale the whole time.
No, you're not going to.
Come on.
No, you're not going to keep me up. You're not going to keep me off television. I like it too much.
You guys hit on all the right words. As you said, put a stamp on Arizona. Excitement, winning, hope for what could be coming this spring and summer. Putting that behind us and moving on to New Jersey. So much preseason excitement. Where do they go from here?
Oh, man. It's panic city. I mean, you get rid of your coach. Now you get rid of your MVP star. I think this season has not gone not one iota way the way that the brass thought, that the fans thought, or even the players thought. I mean, I feel bad for Corey Schneider. I mean, he got abducted by aliens. I know he's been hurt. I know he's had injury problems, but when he has been in net, it's just like it's almost like he has a sheet in front of his eyes. And this is a very, very good goaltender and a great guy. I feel bad for Corey Schneider, but then you got your first number one pick in Jack Hughes. He's having a little bit slower development. Heischer has just been okay. This is a team right now that I think is a little panic-stricken and doing anything they can to try to salvage the season.
Well, nobody's having career years. I mean, everyone's having just an average year. Wayne Simmons, he's not getting the puck in front of the net. Their power play's been okay. PK, I'm not sure if he's healthy right now. He's been just okay. Nico Hischier is a guy that I'm looking at right now. You look at the other first-rounders who are drafted in that same draft. I believe Cale Makar is a guy that comes to mind. Heiskanen comes to mind. And Hischier was drafted first overall. Like, you can't have players drafted third, fourth, fifth after you surpass you. I mean, his career is still early and it's still young, and he's signed a huge ticket. You hope he becomes the player that Shiro and the New Jersey Devils hope that he could develop into, because if he doesn't, you can't miss at number ones. Jack Hughes, I always thought it would take him a little bit more time. He's a kid, man. You see Jack Hughes.
He's going to be great.
He's 18.
Yeah, Jack Hughes is going to be fine.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good. Just give him some time. I think this is a team that could use a nice lottery pick this year. Alex Lafreniere, good young French hockey player, could be number one. Quentin Byfield, big kid, looks like Malkin out of Sudbury, could be a number one draft pick too. If you have these players, you add them to who New Jersey has right now, they could build something special, but it's going to take time. I mean, all the hype on the season, I mean, it's all for naught.
Well, they have some big worries right now. The one thing they have going is their cross river rivals in the New York Rangers are just doing okay, not doing great. So they don't have to really challenge them in terms of who's battling the scales there on the stats, but. The New York Islanders are our team that's really dominating the market over here, and I think they want to try to rival that.
Getting back to where we started with Taylor Hall, we're shooting this on Tuesday, and he is expected to play tonight with Arizona on a line with Phil Kessel. So looking forward to seeing that. And
I can't wait. I cannot wait to watch the game.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see
right here.
Arizona.
And the good thing about Taylor Hall, like, you think about Arizona, do they have a number one center? I mean, Schmaltz. He's not really a number one, right?
They do not have a number one center.
But Phil Kessel doesn't really need a number one center to thrive. Neither does Hall. Like, think about Taylor Hall. Who's he played with down the middle as a number one center? And he still generates offense, so he should be totally fine in Arizona.
Yeah, listen, Rick Tocchet's done a really good job on piecing guys together that match really well. I think Clayton Keller has got to make a step forward in terms of his development of being a number one center. He's got to be a guy that goes in there and is the disher, is the guy that gets a little bit more dirty in those high traffic areas and really allows this Phil Kessels and Taylor Halls to thrive.